So this is the shirt that I was gonna wear for this review, but after watching the piece of shit that is the Point Break remake, Point Break stars Luke Bracey, Ray Winstone, and is directed by Erickson Core. Wow! Where do I start with this one? Okay, first off, I am a huge fan of the original. Is it a perfect movie? No, but the first one definitely has a lot of really cool elements that make it a really fun action movie. So I had high hopes for the Point Break remake. I didn't expect this movie to be nearly as good as the original, but I didn't expect it to be as bad as it is. So at the beginning of this movie, we're introduced to Utah. He is an extreme motocross bike rider, and there's an accident that happens, and this accident causes him to change the course of his life. So later he joins the FBI, and while in the FBI, he jumps on this case where these extreme sports athletes are committing crimes all around the world. Now, there are a couple of things that I did like about this movie. One was the cinematography. I thought it was interesting how they went with a muted color palette, because most of this movie seems like it's set in kind of a winter type environment. And so the cinematography, I thought, really lended itself to that aspect. And also I like that they didn't do a shot-for-shot remake of the original. They wanted to go a different angle, and the story does have some different elements. Like in this version, the criminals, they want to achieve 8 different athletic feats in order to achieve nirvana. Outside of that though, guys, we got some major problems with this remake. First off, the script of this movie. It's really like a 5-year-old wrote this script. There are scenes where the characters really don't even interact with each other. They just do things, and whatever they do, it just kind of makes no sense. It's stupid. And what little acting there is in some of these scenes, it's like they didn't have a script for the day and they were just making up shit for that specific scene. Also, the characters are a tenth as interesting as the characters in the original. They don't really take the time to build any of these characters. There's no real FBI detective work. Utah just basically shows up in these locations and he establishes relationships with these people, but that's the problem. They don't take the time to establish the relationships. They're just there automatically. And to give you a good example, Teresa Palmer plays the love interest of Utah in this movie, and this might be the weakest on-screen romance I think I've ever seen. There's no building of that relationship whatsoever. They meet each other, they have sex. The next time you see them together, you swear that they've been together for, months or even years. But they have nothing to say to each other whatsoever, so there's no chemistry at all. And her character is not interesting, not nearly as interesting as Lori Petty was in the original. And I know I keep hearkening back to the original. I don't usually like to do that with remakes, but at least in remakes, you have somewhat of a template that you can follow in order to show you how to properly make a movie. And in this remake, they failed miserably. Also, I gotta mention Ray Winstone. He plays Utah's partner in this movie, and in the original, it was Gary Busey. Now, Ray Winstone is a really competent actor, but he really had nothing to do in this movie. Whereas Gary Busey was excellent in the original. I mean, one of the most famous lines from the movie, "Utah, get me 2." That's Gary Busey. There's none of that in this movie whatsoever. And also, Gary Busey and Keanu Reeves had such a great relationship with each other. Again, there is no relationship between Luke Bracey and Ray Winstone in this movie whatsoever. Also, some of the stunts and the action set pieces in this movie, they're good, but they go on for way too long, and it's like they were trying to take up time in the movie with the stunts to make up for the lack of story. And sometimes it actually felt like I was watching a National Geographic documentary instead of an actual movie. Also, there was a kind of a fighting scene, a hand-to-hand combat scene, maybe a Fight Club scene. That's the type of setting it was between Utah and the criminals. And that was one of the worst filmed fight scene I think I've ever seen, because the camera was pretty much in their armpits the whole time. So overall, guys, I'm gonna give this a 2 hours loss, and it was damn near close to a looped in hell. But because I had a good time laughing at the movie while watching it and after, then I'm just gonna give it a 2 hours lost. It wasn't painful to watch, if you know what I mean. although I'll probably never watch it again. So anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on Point Break? And what are some of your favorite remakes? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And Humdrum out.